Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again, or should I say, what's up, chat? Like the young folks like to say it nowadays. It is time for Snug Wrestling. We're going to be going over SmackDown. The WWE is over here in the West Coast on my side. They're in the Bay Area tonight, San Jose, which is right up the street here for me. But it was kind of bugging me that the whole time that we're saying, oh, this is Jacob Fatu's hometown. And I'm like, no, Jacob Fatu is from Sacramento, the capital of California. San Jose and Sacramento are two completely different cities. They're kind of close together, but they're not the same. What doesn't matter. The Bay Area claims Jacob Fatu. That's cool. I'm not mad at it. But we are going to be going over SmackDown tonight with the Snug Crew, Mr. Blood, Tommy, and Toxic. They are all here with us today. We are getting closer and closer to WrestleMania. How y'all feeling, fellas? How is everything?
8 days away from Mania. I think we're a full week away from the Hall of Fame, aren't we? So Hall of Fame ceremonies next Friday. We're gonna get Stephanie McMahon and AJ Styles in at the same time, the same year. Question is, there's always a premier inductee. I wonder who it's gonna be more of, AJ or Stephanie. If Triple H doesn't pull a Triple H, it'll be AJ. But when it comes down to it, it's kind of surreal how quick the year goes by, right? I mean, I feel like we were literally just here a year ago. Surprise, right? Like maybe this happens like, what is this, like every year now? But it's just kind of crazy that it's already been a full trip around the sun again next week. And we're literally, 2 years in a row, Mania, the same 2 days as last year. And it's like, wow, it's in 8 days. There's so much to get into. I get more excited as the days tick on and we get through the rest of this week. I'm so glad this week's basically over. So we'll finally be in Mania mode. We'll finally be in go home show mode. And hopefully, if WWE can't get anything else right on their other go home shows, I hope they do it on the Mania go home shows next week. But we do also have a full week next week, guys. I mean, for those of you listening, so I don't got to say it at the end of the episode. We will not be doing Monday Night Raw review Monday night because our good host Edgar here will be live at the Go Home Raw for Mania. So join us on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 o'clock Central. Wednesday night, we will be double taping lives. We will be doing the NXT review, and we will also be doing Night 1 WrestleMania predictions. On Thursday, instead of doing our 1 hour TikTok lives, we'll be foregoing that for Night 2 predictions. Those will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And on Friday, we will have our SmackDown review after the show goes off the air, of course, as always. And then you will catch us on Saturday and Sunday night, respectively, after both nights of Mania for post-show reviews. So if you love Snug Wrestling, make sure you are following us on all of our platforms for any updates for those shows, any changes, and any news that's going to come out between now and next Friday before Mania happens. But of course, guys, follow us everywhere on Apple and Spotify and be here for all the live show reviews throughout the week, every single week on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. My day's been surprisingly great because all the rest of them's been shit. But I only have one major thing to complain about on the show. Other than that, I enjoyed everything. Nothing really went wrong for me. There's just one major thing that I have that I'm super pissed about.
Overall, the show was fine, but I legitimately messaged this in our chat. So, can we just call SmackDown the promo show at this point? Because there are way more promos than there are actual matches at this point when it comes to SmackDown. For a 3-hour show, they don't really get more wrestling out of it. It's way more promos and commercials. That's what we get out of SmackDown, unfortunately. But overall, the show was great. Got a little bit of a 2 in-ring debuts tonight, but we'll get into both of those here in a bit. Super excited for it.
Tommy, how long have you been watching the WWE, dog? Like, you pretty much summed up every episode of WWE that we have been watching for the past, I don't know how many years. It's always been like that. It's always
Yeah,
been more
I
promos,
know, but
more video
SmackDown
packages than
specifically.
anything.
Hell, the opening of the show, the promo segment that we'll get into here in a few was literally like 23 minutes long. Like,
Where you been at, Tommy?
All over the damn place. I've got a lot on my mind right now, but I've been here for a while. Clearly, we've been doing this for a year and a half, so I've clearly been watching for a hot minute. But still, SmackDown specifically, ever since they moved to 3 hours, they decided to go, hey, way more promos.
that's because we got an extra hour to fill.
Yeah, a lot of filler stuff. But the opening segment of the show started off with Cody Rhodes looking for Pat McAfee, and just this one backstage segment, I felt like there was a lot of stuff happening here because you had Cody walking up to the arena. Nick Aldis stops Cody, and Cody's like, "Where's Pat McAfee?" And then Jelly Roll shows up. We didn't see Jelly Roll last week because he got RKO'd by Randy Orton. He's looking for Pat McAfee. So you got Nick Aldis telling Cody, "Hey, I know you're upset, but this is coming from up above. I'm under strict orders. You cannot lay hands on Pat McAfee." And Cody's like, "Whoa, by who, Nick? What do you mean strict orders?" So some mysterious unknown person has been telling Nick Aldis, or kind of protecting Pat McAfee. And then to make matters worse, Aleister Black, you can see him just walking around the background there, and he was roaming around backstage segments throughout the whole entire night. So a lot of stuff happening here in this segment, fellas. What did y'all think?
I think it's an interesting setup that, you know, we get more follow up in the promo that precedes it. But it's kind of funny that this Mania, you know, you wind the clock back a month and a half ago. We had like one match announced for this entire card at that point, and no one really knew what the fuck was going on. Okay, we might have like 2 matches a month and a half ago. And to think that we went from 2 to like what, 13 now, 13 or so matches in a month and a half, with most of them having build, most of them having stakes now, most of them having story that's taken a lot of shape. A lot of interesting build here when Mania felt like it had no direction, right? And we had so much injury plaguing this WrestleMania that we were like, man, this is just going to be a mock-up of hitting random on 2K to get these fucking matchups. And in some ways, we kind of had to. The Gunther and the Seth Rollins feud, for example, thrown together last minute due to injury. And unfortunately, Braun couldn't come back. And then we finally get Randy and Cody, and here we go, randomly insert Pat McAfee as a manager and probably Jelly Roll in Cody's in corner at Mania, right? You know, feels like something you'd book in 2K. It's interesting. My only wonder is he's under strict orders not to allow anybody to lay hands on McAfee, and I only have 2 guesses as to who the fuck might have made those orders. One, Ari Emanuel, the head of TKO, the agent that placed McAfee back in this. And 2, this is a long shot, hear me out here, The Rock. I'm wondering if The Rock is going to make a special surprise appearance at Mania. I'm wondering because the last time we saw The Rock, he told Cody, "Don't you ever break my heart again." He essentially was the reason Cena turned in the first place, and then he never followed up. So the last time we saw The Rock, he was a heel against Cody. And he's also the director of the board. And here's CM Punk and here's Cody Rhodes shit-talking the shareholders, shit-talking the board, shit-talking TKO, shit-talking Ari Emanuel. So I'm wondering if it's maybe everybody's focused on Ari Emanuel, but Ari Emanuel doesn't exist in kayfabe. He exists in shoot. But the final boss exists in kayfabe.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot. I mean, I knew that Cody was going to be gunning for McAfee. I didn't expect Jelly Roll though. It's good to see him on TV now that he's getting more involved in the WWE. I really like his position in where he's at in stories. But yeah, this was fine. Not a lot, no, not really any complaints.
Yeah, my biggest thing is the fact of Nick Aldis's wording here. He may not have said it here, but he definitely said it to Pat McAfee later on that no one from WWE specifically can't lay their hands on Pat McAfee. And as soon as I saw Jelly Roll, I'm like, well, he's not under contract with WWE at all, which means he's the only man in the building who can touch him. So there's that. Maybe that goes down the line. But overall, my guess on who's protecting him is Ari Emanuel, simply because of the fact that he is the one who put him in there and all of that. But Blood, I'm telling you now, if Rock decides to surprisingly show up, it's only going to piss people off even more because of last year and the fact that he couldn't even show up to finish his own damn story with John Cena.
But the reason it makes sense that he shows up is one, it's a good thing if he pisses people off. He's a heel the last time we saw him. That's good heat. But two, it puts asses in seats. And three, The Rock would be perfectly timed to come back right now. And I'll tell you why. The Rock always comes back for one or two reasons. To either rehabilitate his image because he fucked up somewhere in Hollywood or pissed somebody off, or two, he's going to promote a movie. And the Moana 2 trailer dropped just a couple weeks ago, or the Moana live action trailer just dropped a couple weeks ago. So if The Rock comes back perfectly timed at WrestleMania, I could see The Rock coming back because he hasn't destroyed his image in Hollywood, but he didn't get the Oscar nod that he wanted for Smashing Machine. But the Moana live action movie just dropped the trailer and releases this year. And The Rock is going to rock and use the WWE to cross promote. And I could see him absolutely coming back to cross promote that along with get involved with Cody, because the last person he had history with was Cody Rhodes before he left.
Yeah, the Moana trailer just dropped, and I'm also going to remind you, because he posted about this, Jumanji just wrapped up filming, which means he's going to want to start pushing that too.
Exactly. See, The Rock loves WWE, but The Rock also loves using the WWE. Don't forget that.
So that seems to be one thing that a lot of fans are starting to believe. And we actually talked about this last night on my live when I was with Soto 619. I don't think he's coming because with everything that has been going on with the ticket sales, we'll talk about Pat McAfee's announcement later. They're doing 25% off and they're doing all these things. The Rock announcing that The Rock is going to show up at WrestleMania would sell so many fucking tickets. I don't think the WWE would risk that opportunity by having The Rock show up randomly without him being announced or advertised or nothing.
That's a very fair point. I got to give that to you too. But I could see them using him to push for tickets for the shows after, because they're heading to Europe in a little bit and they're going to be on another tour. So I'm wondering if maybe that's where we're going. Don't we have, Clash and where coming up? Clash in Paris or something? Or what's coming up?
Clash in Paris, but I think it's going to be in Italy.
Or Clash in Italy, yes. So I could see them pushing for that. I mean, there's Backlash. There's tons of stuff. We'll have to wait and see. Mania is only 8 days away.
All right. Then they set up the main event after this with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They had an in-ring segment, but we'll talk about the main event later on. Because the first match was the hometown hero Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. And Mama told me, if you ain't got nothing to say, then don't say nothing. Bayley can't even catch a break in her own hometown. She got defeated by Alexa Bliss here tonight, y'all. But what did you guys think about this?
I think at this point it's been said to death. Justice for Bayley. You know, everybody agrees. She is pound for pound probably the most reliable worker, top to bottom, in the entire women's division. And normally I would have said the most reliable worker is probably going to be like an Io Sky or a Charlotte Flair or a Rhea Ripley when you look head to toe in the women's division throughout the entire company. But Bayley is, in my opinion, probably in the top 2 to top 3 most reliable workers in the company across any division. When you think of what you want to build a professional wrestler like from top to bottom, for the men, a lot of people say Randy Orton. For the women, I say it's Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, or Bayley. And Bayley will never get her due. I will say with the match, she did lose, but I like that they at least protected her in the finish. I just think it's stupid that we can't let her get at least just a feel-good win in her hometown right before Mania. Because unless they're going to let Lyra and Bayley win at Mania, why not give her the win here? But they protected her. It was distraction, roll up, and it was a quick cinch of the tights. It's over, right? But let's be honest, guys. I would hope that when Bayley's contract comes up, they either go, hey, we want you to just turn into a producer or a trainer, or you pay this woman more and pay her what the fuck she's worth for sticking around as long as she has, being as loyal as she has, never getting the due that she has deserved consistently for the last 5 years. Because I'm sorry, Bayley is probably the best person on your roster, top to bottom, who eats more shit and has learned to like it and still performs or outperforms everybody on a weekly, consistent basis.
I mean, yeah, Blood basically took the words out of my mouth. I agree with most of the things that was said. The match was good. Just Bayley deserves better, way better than she is getting. And fuck it, I was gonna save this for Mania predictions. They need a win at Mania.
They really do, but I will definitely get into why they're probably not when we do the predictions. But overall, we are all in agreement here. Bayley absolutely deserves way, way better than what they're giving her. She's doing her best with the bullshit that WWE is unfortunately handing to her. Because there's really not much you can do with her, at least with how they're currently working her, which sucks as all hell, knowing the fact that you are looking at one of the 4 fucking horsewomen. Are you kidding me? She is one of the 4 horsewomen, and you're over here putting her into a fucking dumpster.
Yeah. I mean, there's literally only 2 reasons the women's division is where it is today. And it's because of the women that ate the bullshit from the Attitude Era to the height of the PG era in the Divas division, and the 4 horsewomen of NXT changing the game with real fucking technical wrestling on those takeovers in NXT 14 years ago, showing WWE, hey, women's wrestling can be just as fucking cool. And Bayley was 25% of that equation. So when it comes down to it, pay her what she's worth, unless you want her to go to AEW or somewhere else. Because if that's me, I want her around. Because when she retires, that's exactly who I want helping down at NXT training talent. I want her booking women's matches and producing. You can't tell me a single other person that would be a better fit in that leadership role than Bayley. There's a reason when she comes out, it says role model. Listen to your own fucking shtick, WWE. And treat this woman with more respect, because she has fucking earned it by this point. She goddamn deserves it at this point.
For all we know, Bailey's getting paid millions of dollars to eat jobs, bro. And
Pay her more. Pay her more.
I don't give a fuck. If y'all gonna pay me millions of dollars, I'll fucking do all the jobs, bro.
You know what's
I'll
funny?
fucking.
I guarantee you Becky makes 2 times more than her and she works 3 times less. Pay her more.
We got a debut. Finally, Royce Keys debuted versus the homie Humberto Carrillo. One of my personal favorites. That guy never gets he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he was tasked with working with Royce Keys on his debut match. Officially, Royce Keys is on SmackDown. He looked good. Humberto Carrillo got some offense there. This wasn't a total squash match. Royce Keys had to work for it. He had to show what he can do. Everything was good. Everything was good. The only thing that irked my soul about this, y'all, was this fucking catchphrase. Daniel Bryan had the yes movement, the yes chants. Danhausen has the "you are cursed." LA Knight has his thing. LA Knight. Royce Keys has his fucking Titantron said I. How is that even gonna work? Like, how are you gonna get that to the people to chant that in the arena? Like, that's it. That's his thing. His gimmick is I. Royce Keys is I.
That's WWE going, hey, we totally understand black culture. Pauses awkwardly with a thumb up. Looks at the 2 whitest men in creative, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, going, I could see Shawn Michaels going in the creative meeting. Well, I mean, it's kind of hip though, right? Like the kids they say I. Sounds like it's literally like what Vince would have done. Go out there and Shad Gaspard, JTG, you're crime time. You're a gang of hoodlums. You go out there and you like to roll to the music, to the hip hop of your Ebonics generation. You're urban, you get it. While he turns to John Cena and says and drops the N-word on live TV. Like that's what I get with I. I'm like because I've seen Unreal. There ain't a single black guy at that creative table when they pan over. I can see like Paul Heyman's the only one at that table with real fucking street cred because they just got rid of Road Dogg. Like Paul Heyman's actually from New York and he was from the streets in the hood. I can see him going, well, you want to go and say hi, something hip the kids like. But this was, oh my God, fuck. All I'm going to say is really surprised they gave Berto as much offense as they did. If this is Royce's debut match on main roster TV, I thought they were going to make him run through him like a fucking semi-truck. But no, he had to work for it. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because you don't want Berto to feel like he's a squash when you think that he could get a lot of good out of working with Royce, and Royce could get a lot of good working him. The problem is Berto, no offense to him, extremely wildly talented, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way. He's kind of a nobody in the WWE, right? He is among the elites. That's why he's in the WWE. He's in the biggest pro wrestling company in the world. So he's done something right along the way. But in the confine of WWE, he is the undercard. He is a jobber. He is a nobody. He is we pick you when we need to use you, and then we forget that you work here. Because I got to be honest, I forgot he worked here until I saw his name on the card with Roy. I was like, he's still fucking here? Like that's how it is. You see him work and you go, oh, that's why he's still here. Because he's a great fucking worker. And by the way, shout out, you know how long it's been since I've seen a missile drop kick from the top rope? That shit was dope. But Royce, I think he gave Berto still a little bit too much offense. The finish was decent. That was a great double-A spine buster. And if that's the debut for Royce, I don't hate it. I'm just not sure if letting Berto make him work that hard for a win was the smartest choice.
I liked this match, and I did like Royce Keys' debut. I don't really even get his gimmick. I didn't even pay attention to his gimmick. All I paid attention to was actually that was the only thing I didn't pay attention to. I did like how for me it blah. Not only did Royce Keys look good, he also made Humberto look good for me, like too as well. Because I'm stuttering on my words right now. I don't know why. Because I know what I'm thinking, but just brain isn't braining. Um, but yeah, for me, both the two guys looked amazing in this match, but I don't even know what I was gonna say. Fuck. Well, that's all.
Well, it sucks that it took 3 damn months just to fucking debut this man. That's my biggest problem. You signed him, debuted him at the Royal Rumble, and then his in-ring debut regularly is 3 months later. That's my biggest problem there, is the fact that it felt like they had no plan for him after signing him. But the match itself was great. I completely forgot that Legado del Fantasma even existed until I saw Berto. Because as soon as I saw Berto, I'm like, right, that faction exists. Because we haven't seen them in months now. So that was really my biggest thing, is that it took so long to debut him.
Well, I'll counter that by saying that's the Jade Cargill treatment all over again. Debut her at the Royal Rumble, realize that they're both kind of products of AEW's lack of training centers and lack of, let's say, development of their talent. They more just like, hey, you were really good on the indies. This is how you work TV. And that's basically it. They probably were having him go up in the Performance Center for the last 3 months and train him in the WWE style and see what his weaknesses and strengths were. That's probably what it was. They probably just wanted to be safe, because the last time they just threw someone out there, it was Jade Cargill, and they realized, oh, that was way too quick. We should have probably fact-checked this shit first.
Or now hear me out. He's been having dark matches, Royce Keys has. He's been wrestling, not on TV, but they have been using him every week here and there, right? The other thing, another reason why they waited so long and they waited until now is because they were in San Jose. He's from Palo Alto, which, how they mentioned, is 20 minutes away from where they were. So it could be like, hey, we want to bring him in with a lot of fanfare in a territory where he's recognized, where people might know him, where he might get the best crowd reaction, because we want to present him as the baby face. So let's wait until we go to San Jose. We'll wait for the right time to debut him. And sometimes it's just that simple. I mean, there's really not much into it.
And that's very possible too. I would like to say, when I saw him in the ring, he's got a nice aura about him, a nice energy, great fucking physique. Guy's got an awesome look. It already made me dream match a little bit. I want to see him versus Sheamus. I want to see him versus Oba Femi. I would love to see him versus Brock Lesnar before Lesnar leaves. But when I was looking at that, I was like, dude, I got a couple of fucking powerhouse matches I would kill to see. Give me him versus Drew. But the guy's got really good ring acumen, and I think he's very agile, and I think he's got that nice snap to his movements. That yank up into the freaking power slam was fantastic. He's got something. So WWE signed him for a reason. I'm just excited to see what his first real feud is going to be.
Yeah, I would love to see him against Sheamus, but the problem is Sheamus has unfortunately been on the injury list ever since right before John Cena retired last year. His last appearance was that 6-man tag with the Judgment Day, unfortunately.
Well, we got a little tease of where this might be leading to for Royce Keys, because he had a post-match interview with Kathy Kelly, where apparently Kathy Kelly and Royce Keys go way back. They've known each other for a long time. And, it was that Royce Keys got to debut in his hometown with these people. And then he gets interrupted by Solo Sikoa. Apparently, Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys go way back too. And Solo Sikoa's like, I'm from the Bay, you're from the Bay. If you need anything, you let me know. And Royce Keys kind of gave him that look like, okay, I might be interested in that. I might take you up on that.
The MFT's mid-card vortex. Oh my God, they're going to suck him into some bullshit for like 4 straight months. Here's the question though: Is Royce a face or a heel?
I'm pretty sure he's a babyface.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know because haven't seen Berto in so long. I didn't know if he was a heel or a face. So I was like, okay, well, if he's sitting here palling around with Solo and he's like, oh yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I'm like, he's a heel, right? So all right, let's see where it goes. Just please don't trap this man in a feud for a quarter of a fucking year. I don't need to see it. Not with the MFTs.
Then we get, I guess, the longest, and I say longest because after a certain point, I kind of felt like this segment overstayed its welcome, but also the most entertaining thing that came out of this whole entire episode of SmackDown, and that was the Pat McAfee, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes segment. Pat McAfee shows up on SmackDown, and he's flipping the bird on live TV, dropping shit bombs, saying all kinds of bitches, and just really like when Nick Aldis said that Pat McAfee was protected, like this is starting to feel like also as a shoot because he's getting away with a lot of shit. Like there was a few times the cameramen, the producers were trying hard to black out the screen and not show Pat McAfee's fingers when he was flipping people off constantly throughout this whole entire segment. But Pat McAfee was really walking around like he was untouchable during this whole thing. That's the part that I thought was cool because it kind of tells you like, hey, this guy doesn't give a fuck. He can get away with anything. He can do whatever he wants. He took over the show, right? Okay, that's cool. He cuts a promo on CM Punk and he responds to what CM Punk had to say about him. Says the guy that he's wearing a WWE official merch, a hoodie, and he's selling all of this merch with his name on it with the WWE. And when that TKO merch check cashes, when it clears, do you think CM Punk is putting that money that he's making off that merch to help buy the poor families that can't afford WWE tickets? No, he's not. He's cashing it in the I'm sorry Saudi Arabia bank account or something like that. Basically, Pat McAfee went off on CM Punk. I thought that part was dope too. The part that I didn't think was dope was the way that they announced 25% off WrestleMania tickets. Pat McAfee was like, "You're welcome." CM Punk said that we should lower the ticket sales, but he didn't do shit about it. I called Ram. I called the sponsors. I told them, give these people 25% off WrestleMania tickets until Monday. You are welcome. I did this, right? And then Jelly Roll gets involved, and that's when it started going kind of downhill for me. Because they did the thing where Cody Rhodes is about to attack Pat McAfee where she was told he's not supposed to, right? And then Randy Orton shows up in the Titantron, and they did the thing where, oh, I got your friend right here. I beat him up, and he's selling. Jelly Roll is selling, and then that kind of leads to Cody Rhodes being distracted, and then Pat McAfee and Randy, jump on Cody. But this was a good fucking 25 minute segment or something crazy like that.
Yeah, this whole thing, it was long. But here's the thing. say what you will about Pat McAfee. He's one of my favorite commentators of all time because I just love his energy. And I love him with Michael Cole. They were my favorite thing because everybody, if you know me, if you know this podcast, you know, I can't stand Corey Graves' ass. He grades on my patience every single Monday night. I think he is so fucking obnoxious. And when it comes down to it, I love Pat. But say what you will about Pat, this was the best fucking promo he's ever cut. And he's cut some decent ones. This shit was a good promo. Tearing into Punk, great shit. Great one-liners, never trips over his words, said it like he believed it, made me think he believed it, then Cody cuts a great promo on him. It was a little awkward where Cody sets the mic down, Pat keeps going, Cody is about to leave, then he comes to pick the mic back up, says some more stuff, then throws it, then we get to him going up the ramp, then Pat's still talking shit from the back. Pat's getting away with shit that I didn't think you could get away with. Aside from the cursing, the middle fingers, he's name dropping Paul Levesque, saying, Triple H is up his ass and all this other stuff, and you got to go ask daddy permission, and you're going to be so far up Paul Levesque's cheeks. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, bro, I don't know who's writing this script for him to say, Triple H or fucking if like Ari Emanuel's like, let him say this, it's okay. I don't know if there's like conflicting creative backstage. Who knows? But I like the Jelly Roll stuff too, though, because I like Jelly Roll. I'm a big fan of Jelly Roll stuff. I like what he's done in WWE. But I gotta say, at the end of this, it's definitely going to be Randy and Cody with probably Pat and Jelly Roll in opposite corners as managers. Jelly Roll's probably going to get something in on Pat at Mania. But whatever way this shakes up, I got to say, though I'm not happy that we had to throw this in there when it was unnecessary, because Cody and Randy sells itself, they found a way to make it wildly entertaining. And I also like that Cody fucking fact-checked Pat, like, right on air. He's like, you know, Randy was in high school when the Attitude Era was on. You're talking about this Attitude Era shit. He's like, dude, he debuted after the Attitude Era. You know, what do you, like, you and these fans that talk this shit, know your shit before you talk it. He also is like, you call these people the marks in the IWC. Bosch used to say they're not customers, you know, they're basically the reason you're fucking here, like their family. And I liked Cody's promo. I thought this was all great. Way too long-winded, but it was really good.
I gotta give a quick shout out to Sabotage Sean. He said, "Let's get it, boys." He was the Sabotage Sean is in the comments. He was one of the masked men that showed up a couple times. When did he show up, Tommy? When they unmasked him and they thought it was Seth Rollins, but it was him. When was that? Was it at the
chamber? He was the one who climbed up the side. They grabbed him, took him to the ramp, and unmasked him.
There you go.
But
shout out to you.
Recently, there was also, and I pretty much just learned this within the last couple of days, Snug, you and I have seen him a little bit earlier than that now. A little bit sooner now. Because he was also one of the guys waving the flag at Stand and Deliver on Saturday.
Yeah, he's all over the place. So shout out to you, Sean. Thank you for your comment. Go ahead. Who's next?
Me. I find this entire shit stupid, and just there's only one like corporate gimmick that I can stand, and that was what was it called? It was the one with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon,
the
Seth
Authority.
Rollins. The Authority, that's what it was. It was something like that. That's the only one that I can stand. I cannot stand corporate Pat McAfee and this version of corporate Randy Orton. I just cannot stand it. And like Pat McAfee's just mentioning shit that's not even like, it just, for me, it doesn't even make sense for that to be like, for him to mention that stuff in the promos and I mean, Pat McAfee's probably a fucking liar because he's like, huh? Like, imagine I can imagine this watching CM Punk's promo. Huh? He's probably right. You know what? I'm gonna call Ram and we're gonna do this. Even though, and I'm just gonna take all the credit for it because I'm a dumbass bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But Cody's promo was great. I loved it. And I have completely switched sides. Whenever this whole entire thing happened, I said that I wanted Randy to go over. Now that Pat McAfee has entered, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people are on this page, I want Cody to retain. Or just like at least, I don't know. I want him to go over in this storyline because I have a feeling the storyline goes past Mania, and just I'm not buying heel Randy as much as I did.
Here's the thing. I am also like I've been going back and forth, but Pat McAfee in this said something to Cody that makes me go, I kind of want Randy Orton to lose now, which is the fact that if Randy Orton loses and Cody Rhodes retains, we will never hear or see from Pat McAfee again. And as much as I love Pat McAfee, he was great with Michael Cole. He really was. I'm with Blood on that. He's absolutely one of my favorite commentators of all time when he's with Michael Cole. But with everything that's currently happening with him, I want Randy to lose just so we don't have to see Pat McAfee again. Because holy shit, I hate this so much. It works currently, but at the same time, I hate it.
I will bitch really quickly, just so we have something for the fans to chew on. But they're all going to feel the same way. I didn't mention this, but the one unforgivable thing about this entire segment, aside for being nearly a half an hour fucking long, where's the wrestling on this wrestling show? Pat McAfee's cheapest of all cheap fucking plugs for the 25% off. Pat had so many people hooked on what he was saying until he spewed the most corporate fucking shit out of his mouth, the most fakest force-fed garbage of, and now it's 25% off for WrestleMania from now until the end of Monday Night Raw. So all of you can go ahead and go to Mania, but it's for a limited time discount. So long, again, in case you didn't hear me, from now until the end of Monday Night Raw. I was like, talk about the most shameless fucking cheap ass advertisement. We're desperate plug I have heard out of WWE in a long time. And I defend WWE a lot. But that was the most, please, oh, I'm begging you, please. We want to tout, record attendance and gate, please, I've ever fucking heard out of a promo ever. And now I really hope to fuck they don't sell out WrestleMania so TKO learns their fucking lesson.
Okay, hold on. Pause though. Hold on though, because we were just complaining that the ticket prices were way too fucking high. And then they fucking lower it 25%. And now it's like, oh, fuck that. No,
Here's the difference. If you want to lower the ticket prices, first off, because you fucked everybody in the city out of it, don't lower them 25. Lower them like 30 to 50%. If you're really actually trying to make an honest effort to get the arena filled, you'll go at least close to 50%. And two, don't make it like you did us a fucking favor. Just do it. Just advertise it from the commentators. And by the way, before we go on to the next segment, we did want to let you know ticket price for WrestleMania are on sale and on discount, up to 50% off between now and the end of Monday Night Raw for the go-home show leading into WrestleMania next week. If you still want to go to WrestleMania, it is now even more affordable to enjoy a weekend with your friends and family at the grandest stage of them all. Again, until the end of Monday Night Raw, they are on sale up towards the 50% off, yada, yada. It's that simple. The way that they had Matt or Pat say it was like begging for clout. It was fucking embarrassing.
Not to
Yeah, that
and Pat McAfee going, I went to Ram Trucks, and thanks to Ram Trucks, they're going to do the whole 25% off thing thanks to Ram Trucks. I'm like, dude, shut up.
You're right though, because it went from being a genuine, really good promo that felt like it was off the cuff, he's riffing, into I gotta hit the bullet points of this adverb while I'm in here. Like, and I gotta make sure, the agreement was I gotta mention them at least 3 times. Like, it just felt so fucking forced, so contrived. Just fucking have the commentators before we go to the next segment go, hey, tickets are on sale until the end of Monday Night Raw next week so everybody can fill up at Mania and have a good time. Don't have Pat going, hey, we're begging you to fucking come to WrestleMania. Please, please, please. We've got to have a record gate. Otherwise, TKO might fire Triple H. Like, that's what it felt like. And it was like, dude, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment because it screams of desperation. Yeah. And I hope they fucking fail. I want TKO to learn their fucking lesson. Don't price gouge, bitch.
I mean, for that, in that sense, yes. Because even I thought about it. I'm like, whoa, 25% off? But I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. But I'm glad you mentioned this, Tommy, because after, the announcement of the 25% off and all that shit, I completely forgot the other announcement that was made here was the whole thing that Pat McAfee said, if Randy loses, you will never see me ever again in WWE, right? I saw the reports a few days before because I think this is something that Pat McAfee mentioned on his show a few days ago, right? And then he announced it again for the people that don't watch his show, that weren't aware of that announcement, right? And it got me thinking, like, it's kind of hard for me to believe that we will never see Pat McAfee again in the WWE ever again. So did you guys also feel like this was kind of a giveaway? This is kind of like they're pretty much telling us that Randy Orton is going to win, right?
Oh,
did anyone else feel that way?
I automatically had a feeling Randy was going to win anyway. This just kind of drove that point home. Because I was like, he's like, you'll never see me again. There's no reason they would only bring him back for 3 weeks of TV and then never show him again. Because from what we understand, the reports are coming out that, one, Pat never wanted to be a part of the story. The reports came out earlier this week that he actually said no to this. But Ari Emanuel is his agent and is trying to apparently turn Pat into the next big thing out of WWE. They're trying to turn him into a movie star. They're trying to get him on TV roles. They're trying to get him on talk shows. Apparently, Ari is pushing Pat hard because of his crossover appeal, because of his ingrown and homegrown audience that he built himself from his own talk show, and the fact that he's with the NFL, so he's from real, legitimate mainstream sports that give him credibility. And because of his charisma and his crossover appeal with WWE, they're trying to push Pat hard. And because ESPN is trying to get more subscribers, more people onto the platform with WWE, they have Pat McAfee, someone the NFL fans recognize from ESPN, involved in WrestleMania. And that's one of the other reasons WWE's WrestleMania is free for the first hour both nights on ESPN before it fully goes to the app for the rest of the stream, both nights. All of this is Ari Emanuel having a pet project for Pat McAfee. That's what this is. It is Ari's pet project. He looks at fucking Pat and he sees crossover mainstream appeal fucking dollar signs. He sees a cash cow, and he's trying to turn him into the next John Cena and The Rock because of his legitimacy in one sport. So he thinks entertainment sports is the other avenue, but he's trying to turn him into a movie star and get him booked in Hollywood. That are the reports that literally came out multiple times this week.
But here's the crazy part about
a pet project.
Here's the crazy part about all of that, though. Pat McAfee is only recognized in the United States. That's also a big problem for the international audience. For example, my homie from Mexico, who's a huge lucha libre content creator, Licenciado Luchador, shout out to him. He put out a video and he was like, someone please explain to me what the big deal is with this Pat McAfee. Why is he being added to one of the main events at WrestleMania? Who is he? Why do the American people like this guy so much? What gives here? So, like, Pat McAfee is only recognized here in the United States.
Well,
we got people that watch WWE all over the world.
I would say internationally, then people are just not paying attention. I disagree with that only because Pat not only had stories in NXT and matches in NXT, he was in a big match with Gunther just last year on a major PLE. He was on Monday Night Raw for 2.5, 3 years right next to freaking Michael Cole. He's been overseas doing commentary for PLEs. So I just think your friend just don't pay attention. Because Pat's been mainstream WWE internationally for like 3 years now.
Chador is a friend of the show, bro. He pays attention.
He's a friend of the show, but friend of the show, you got to pay attention. Pat's been with WWE for 3 years. 4
Fair
years,
enough.
Actually.
All right. I think we covered this pretty well. I mean, it was the biggest thing that came out of SmackDown, which took most of the time here, but we got to move on because Jacob Fatu had a little tune-up match versus an old friend of his, an old companion, Tama Tonga from the MFTs. The match was good, man. These two know each other so well. They got a lot of history. They go way back. Hard-hitting match, lovely match. Jacob Fatu won with this finisher, the big moonsault, 1, 2, 3. But Drew McIntyre showed up and beat the living shit out of Jacob Fatu up and down that entire arena. And where is security? Security was nowhere to be found for like the first 10 minutes of this beatdown. And I'm like, how big is this fucking arena? Like, is the security guard coming from the fucking parking lot or something? Like, good Lord, Drew McIntyre hit him with chairs, threw him against the steel steps, handcuffed him, beat him up while he was handcuffed, and security guards were still not coming out. But basically, the point that they made here is that Drew McIntyre wanted to embarrass Jacob Fatu in front of his people. But I say bullshit on that because his people are from Sacramento, not from San Jose. But hey, that's just me.
I think the match was really good. Again, I think the breakout star of the MFTs is going to be Tama Tonga. I really do. I think he is the natural breakout star from this group. When it comes to the post-match beatdown, it just kind of gives credence to why I love pro wrestling and why I love the mentalities of wrestlers like a Drew McIntyre, that even if he gets the title taken off of him for the bigger match of that being Cody versus Randy, he's still going to go out there and try to make his feud the most important feud, the most must-see feud. He's going to do whatever he can to try to get the most eyes on it. And much like Gunther and Seth Rollins coming up at Mania, I genuinely believe either of those matches have the potential of being the sleeper hits of the weekend, stealing the show on either card. Because when you look at the guys in the ring, sometimes, even if the story is there like it is with Drew and Jacob from even going back to last fall, you can still look at like a Seth and a Gunther match and go, at this point, the story isn't really what I'm thinking about when we go into the match. I'm thinking about what are these guys going to do to each other? Like, how athletic, how good, how technical, how brutal is this match going to be? When I look at Jacob and Drew, I'm thinking this match is going to be unsanctioned at WrestleMania. They're going to go all over the fucking arena. They're going to do weapons. They're going to do jumps off of crazy shit. I want to see what the fuck Jacob moonsaults off of, because I don't think it's just going to be the top rope. When I think about what this could be, I think this is the match that is going to pump the fucking hell out of that audience. And it's just kind of crazy because, again, you've got like matches like Seth Rollins versus Gunther. You got matches like Punk versus Reigns. You got matches like Cody versus Randy. And then over here is just, hey, these are going to be two really fucking big dudes with no rules, no disqualifications, no countouts. And they're both hyper athletic brutes who like hitting stiff. So I think this is going to be probably potentially second match or match of the weekend if they play their cards right. I think you're looking at the match that people are talking about coming out of Mania, other than just the angles of the two main title matches.
Got a couple comments here I want to read off really quick from Vinny B81. Shout out to them. Thank you for your comment. I wanted Randy to win, but Pat being in this fire, it is making me root for Cody. I think that's the whole point. I think they want people to root for Cody, but it's not really happening, is it? All right, go ahead, Tox.
The match was good. I definitely see Tama breaking out of the MFTs very soon. I actually hope it's like a couple weeks. But you can wish. The thing about the post match beatdown that I have to say is when Jacob was handcuffed to the ring post and Drew was on the apron and that big boot that he landed on Jacob's skull, I was like, my God, is Jacob's head okay? Because it looks like he just straight up, not even trying to protect Jacob or anything, straight up just kicked him in the head. Like Randy Orton punt level of kick. That's what it made me think of. But the match and the attack were good. I like that no matter what Drew did to Jacob, Jacob just fought back. He found the spirit inside him and just whooped ass. So yeah, 100% agree that this is one of the matches that I'm most excited to see because if we go back to the last unsanctioned match, that was good as hell. So I can say that this one should be pretty good, especially because these two are absolute units.
I did like the little fun fact that they decided to put on the screen right after this post-match beatdown, which is the fact that this will be the only second time an unsanctioned match will be at WrestleMania, which is a massive thing, especially for these two. But the match itself, I liked it, although it kind of feels like ever since either last week or 2 weeks ago, whichever one ended up being that match involving Uncle Howdy, that Tama has kind of been tested more as of late because of the fact that he went against Solo's ruling and ended up handing the lantern back to the Wyatt Six. So I feel like he's just being tested from that. But damn, Drew McIntyre, not only in your video package a few segments before this did you decide to film the entire thing inside of a damn jail cell and inside of an actual prison, but you legitimately put handcuffs on this man with the extenders and just go, how does this feel? How does it feel being in these handcuffs again? So he's clearly making this extremely personal, which is honestly what Drew McIntyre is best at. He's extremely good at making things to the point and making things extremely personal. And that's why Drew McIntyre is so good at leading into feuds and making them even bigger.
Then we heard from the United States champion Sami Zayn, where he addressed the crowd and the fans that were booing him. I hear you. He's like, I'm not stupid. I know you guys want change. I know you guys want me to change, but I'm not. For every person that's booing, I know there's still some hardcore Sami Zayn fans out there, and I do it for them. They love me. The people that have been riding with me since day one, but most of the people in the arena were booing Sammy. And Sammy brought up a really good question. Why are you guys booing me? And I thought, that's a good question. I don't even know. I can't remember. I'm not. Why do we? Why don't we like Sami Zayn again? Someone please remind me.
The thing is, it's just they're trying to act like he's letting Trick Williams help him get victories, help him get the championship. Carmelo got cheated out of it, and Sammy didn't even want to give him a rematch until Carmelo goaded it out of him. So they think that he's not being the fighting champion. He's not being the open challenge champion. He's not being the underdog Sami Zayn that's willing to take on any competitor of old. They think he's turning heel. So they're basically just going with the flow of the story where they think he's going to eventually wind up turning heel. So they're booing him early. My thing is that Sammy's been screaming at the rooftops for so long that he's going to win the big one. He's going to win the big one. I will be world champion. I will be this. I will be this. I will be. And then he just keeps being mid-card. So I think fans are just getting tired of maybe him being more of the same. And look, I love Sammy, but you know, you can't be the underdog forever when you've won multi-championship golds. You've main evented a night of WrestleMania and won tag gold. You've literally headlined an entire pay-per-view against Roman fucking Reigns. You know, like it's hard to call you an underdog when you do have a lot of credibility, a lot of wins. It's like people still call. It's like he still called Rey Mysterio the ultimate underdog, like they always used to. Dude's been world champion twice. Dude's been an everything champion. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. To call him an underdog still would be ludicrous. So I just think that people want to see a vicious Sami Zayn again. I think people are ready to see a heel turn from Sami again. And so I think they're more booing the babyface side of him because they've gotten bored of it. They've gotten tired of it. They loved seeing him in the bloodline and seeing him blossom into a babyface naturally, where in that story, it felt like he was the light in a very dark group. And now that all that light has faded and there's no bloodline around, they're like, well, hey, I mean, you've kind of played this song to the end a few times. Change it up. And maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah, I was also genuinely confused on why we should be booing Sammy or why the people are booing Sammy, because I mean, I don't even know what he did other than taking advantage of Carmelo's injury in the rematch and just letting Trick letting Trick finish matches for him, I guess you could say it. But I was genuinely confused, but I'm excited to see like where this goes, either the heel turn or I just want to see where it goes.
I also seriously want to see where this goes. I am extremely confused on why in the world we're booing Sammy, because it makes absolutely no sense on why they are booing Sammy. But my biggest issue with this, I loved the promo segment itself between Sammy and Trick Williams. Great. Why are we giving Lil Yachty to Mike? Because I'm telling you right now, the entrance and the entire time that man was talking, the only thing I could think of is get this mic out of this man's hand. He sounds like a little kid. Like he sounded like a child to me with how he was doing the promo and everything else. All I could think of is, you're a kid right now. That's all I hear from you. That's all I think. So that was really my only
He does
problem.
have a funny ass voice. He does. But it works.
I mean, I would say the only thing about this that annoys me is I look at Sami Zayn right now and I see a missed opportunity. I genuinely think if we had not shoehorned Pat McAfee into the Randy and Cody story, Sammy made the most sense in storyline and from what we've seen on TV over the last 2 months to have been the one on the other end of that phone call with Randy, to have been the one that attacks Cody from behind. Because we saw cracks of the heel turn a while ago with Sammy when he got jealous when Jay was the world champion. And he was standing behind him when Jay came off the ropes and everybody thought he was going to attack him. We've seen Sammy crashing out backstage on all of his friends, but mostly he's tried to chew Cody out multiple times. And he seemed extremely jealous of Cody over and over and over again. I think it was a missed opportunity because if we're going to waste his heel turn on Carmelo Hayes, no offense to Carmelo, it doesn't make as much sense, nor does it have as much impact as him turning on Cody, because then now he's turning in the main event scene. Now he's in that conversation, and now it's more personal because Cody is his friend.
I wish they would have done something when Karrion Kross was still around. They literally had that thing where Karrion was trying to finally turn him heel, finally get him to listen to him and everything else. And they did nothing with it. Right after Karrion Kross lost to Sami Zayn, they let him go.
And that was a year ago at Mania, wasn't
it? It was about a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, that was at Mania they had that match. And it's like, that was a year ago we were trying to get the heel out of Sami.
I think this whole thing is funny because people are booing Sami Zayn for doing what any smart competitor in a wrestling or a fight would do.
That I agree with.
My opponent is weak. This is my time. This is my opportunity to win. It's for a championship.
Yeah.
Any smart competitor would go and take advantage of that, right? He's getting booed for doing stuff like that. However,
like
Cody Rhodes, in the other hand, he's getting booed for always doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck?
WWE fans, homie, wrestling fans are fickle as sin. And it's funny, Carmelo bitched and moaned about Sami doing the right thing and the wrong thing and this thing. It's like, bro, so if the roles were reversed, Carmelo, would you have just stood there and been like, I'm not going to end this match. I'm not tired and gassed and exhausted. I'm going to risk a title win over Sami maybe tweaking his knee. Fuck that, bitch. We're literally slamming each other on our heads. If you tweak your knee, that's a part of the match, bitch. Get this. I'd have pinned his ass too.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, let's get into the match because this led to Trick Williams versus Matt Cardona. Good to see Matt Cardona being used again on SmackDown and not being stuck in catering like most people were saying. Oh, they're not doing anything with Matt Cardona. Yeah, they are. Did he get beat? Yes, he got beat, but he's being put in these positions with, potential top stars. In this case, it was Trick Williams, and Lil Yachty is starting to become like this heel manager because Lil Yachty got involved in the match behind the referee's back. He shoved Matt Cardona's head or throat against the ropes there, which I thought was really entertaining. And then he throws Sami Zayn off the apron, which Sami Zayn then returns the favor by giving Lil Yachty a haluva kick. So I thought that was great. I'm sure the people were, happy to see that. But yeah, Trick Williams got the win over Matt Cardona. Uno, dos, tres.
All I have to say on this is very quick, very finite. Look, solid match. Technically, the right guy won. I just wish we would stop using Matt Cardona in a way where he has to be pinned every week, because since he's been back, the only person he's fucking been able to beat is Kit Wilson. And I know we're protecting him in the finishes with these interferences, with these injuries, but give the guy a credible fucking win. Beating Kit Wilson is not a credible fucking win. I'm sorry. This is Matt Cardona, a 20-plus year fucking veteran, the king of the indies, and now he's in WWE, a company that he was in before as a fucking champion in a main event spot with John Cena and Kane at one point. Can't beat a up-and-comer like Trick, and Trick is great. He's still an up-and-comer. He struggles against, Aleister Black, who's also in the industry, but not as long. He can only beat an undercarder. I'm sorry. You got to give Matt some more. You really do. I'm sorry. I want to see this guy do some more because he's talking on Cody's podcast 2 weeks ago about he's here because he wants to be champion. He wants to be the main guy. He wants to be a world champion. And the way they're booking him, it's like WWE didn't even watch their own interview that they fucking set up. Because if those interviews are meant to promote your talent, listen to your talent talk in the interview. Because to me, it sounds like you want to book him to be a job guy. And if that's why you brought him back, then why did you even care about giving him the presentation you gave him in the first place?
Yeah, I felt like Matt should have won this, but well, no, not but. Um, I just when I say that Matt deserves better is match wise. Yes, he's getting the rubs or getting the spots from like Randy and all these other people that he's interacting with, but I feel like he just needs to win more matches because he just hasn't, and it's kind of like weird to me that he's not winning a lot.
Yeah, the only reason why they had Carmelo Hayes win this, wait, no, not Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams win this, is simply because of the fact that he has that United States title match next weekend, and they wanted to keep him strong. That is it. But overall, Trick Williams still could have taken this loss, and he still would have been completely fine for next weekend. So overall, he was not the man who needed this whatsoever. Matt Cardona needed this 1,000 times more than Trick Williams did.
I love you, Tommy, but no. Trick Williams can't lose right now. He can't lose right now.
I see both sides of it. I think Tommy's right and wrong. Like I said, the right guy won, but you're also handicapping a guy that is a fan favorite, has a lot of history with this company, a lot of history. He's a veteran, and you brought him back for a reason. I don't think you brought him back to job out or lose every single match and only be able to beat Kit Wilson. But I also see it as Tommy's also right, because Vince used to have a method where he would have you on a losing streak before he had you win a title. Do you remember when Dolph Ziggler was Mr. Money in the Bank and lost every match for 4 straight months, then cashed in on Alberto and became the world fucking champion? Trick could lose a match and be completely fine because Dolph literally became a world champion after a 4-month losing streak. And Vince did that multiple times.
But not right before a big main event match at WrestleMania.
He's put people on losing streaks to win the big one at Mania. I mean, come on. He had Austin Theory wrestling matches and losing and shit, and then he let him beat John Cena.
We are 1 week away from WrestleMania. You're telling me that it's common for the challenger for a big title match at WrestleMania to lose his match a week before his title shot at Mania?
I would argue being an up-and-comer going up against John Cena in a match at Mania is bigger than a United States Championship match at WrestleMania. It's John fucking Cena. And literally, they let John Cena decimate Austin Theory on the microphone a couple of weeks in a row and then still let Austin beat him at Mania.
That's not a match, though.
No, but he tore him down and ripped all his credibility out from
a
under him.
match.
A match?
Not on the mic. On a match. It's not common. That doesn't happen.
No, but credibility on a mic is, I mean, look what John did to Roman Reigns all those years ago. Ruined him for months. You know, I mean, all it takes is one guy shooting on you in front of everybody. No one believes in you anymore. It's the same. It can be just as bad or worse than losing one match before Mania. Having the guy you're facing tell everybody in the world that you suck and you're trash and you're garbage and you're a pet project, and that's the only reason you're here, is just as bad as losing one match.
That's completely different, though, man. But let's move on. Let's move on because we still got a lot here. The second debut of the night, Danhausen finally wrestled after I don't know how long it's been, over a month or 2 months. And oddly enough, Danhausen's debut was on SmackDown. Although he has been on Raw and SmackDown both consecutively, I feel like. But I thought, I feel like we've been seeing more of him on Raw, but maybe not. Whatever. They waited until today to debut him versus Kit Wilson. And I was interested in this because I wanted to see what they were going to do here, right? And they showed Danhausen's ability, in ring ability, which he does have. He's, he wrestled in the indies a long time ago, so he can go, right? And then he does this, the curse comes out again. Kit Wilson is about to hit his finisher, or one of his finishers, from the top turnbuckle. Danhausen is selling, and he does the Undertaker sit up, right? Where he's selling, he's laying down, and then he just sits up. Kit Wilson does like the shock look, oh my God, and then Danhausen curses him. You are cursed. Kind of reminded me of the LA Knight, but the Danhausen version. And the pyro goes off while Kit Wilson is standing on the top rope. And I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious, right? This is goofy. This is silly. This is entertaining, whatever. The only two people that has this mythical power is the Undertaker and Danhausen, where the Undertaker points and then the pyro goes off. So Danhausen pulled out his inner Undertaker, and he got the win over Kit Wilson in his debut match on SmackDown.
I'm going to say this, Snug, very importantly. Leave what I say in and don't edit anything, because the entire internet thinks I hate Danhausen and I look like the bad guy. Every time I've said he is wildly entertaining and I like his gimmick for the most part. All they hear is me hating on him when you cut out the parts where I've praised him. So leave in the part where I say Danhausen.
Well, maybe if you kept your rants under 10 minutes, I would be able to fit everything that you say.
Please, because you can do 3 minutes on Instagram Reels. Look,
yes, but we do them under 1.
That's the problem. No context. Listen, when it comes down to it, I like Danhausen. This shit is goofy as fuck. And guess what? He's great for sports entertainment. He nails it. He's got that part. That's where he fits. That's his box he fits in. In the match, massively underwhelming. When I watched him wrestle, I thought, wow, what was the hype about? He is an entertaining character, but fucking Christ, did I think Kit Wilson out-wrestled the shit out of him. Kit Wilson looked better in this match than Danhausen. Didn't even come close to looking as good as Kit. This was the best Kit's looked since he's literally had his last match with Matt Cardona. I thought he looked fantastic. I thought Kit came out of this looking better than Danhausen. I thought Danhausen looked massively entertaining. What a very creative way to do the match. But I thought his wrestling was extremely, extremely okay.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I liked Danhausen in the ring, and it was about damn time that we saw him in the ring because, I mean, yes, I enjoy him backstage and doing all the goofy shit, cursing people. You are cursed. But I just needed to see him in the ring because I've been seeing him on the indies and a little bit on AEW all over TikTok. And he can go, but there was just a little bit that I feel like he can improve on. Like mainly it's not even him, it's I don't even know what it is I'm trying to say, but I like Danhausen in the ring. I don't like surprisingly, I didn't like the curse. The pyro, it just I don't know, it didn't sit well with me. I do like that running big boot that he has. It looks or the regular big boot, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It looked cool to me.
Dude, I love Danhausen. I really do. I am clearly a Fanhausen. That is what I am. I absolutely love Danhausen. He is so fun. I will say that I do get it. I do get what you were saying, Blood, about everything with it. But at the same time, that's his thing. He's like R-Truth under that, where he's supposed to be this really, really fun character overall, really funny, all of that. That's just how he's supposed to be with that. So it works.
R-Truth's a good wrestler, though. So
All right, y'all. The main event was Jade Cargill versus Io Sky. This match was set up at the beginning of the show. And before the show, Rhea Ripley, quote unquote, took out B-Fab and Mi Chin so they wouldn't interfere, right? So this could be a clean one-on-one, right? And Io Sky told Rhea, stay back here. I want to do this on my own. I want Jade Cargill one-on-one. No distractions. And that's exactly how it went down. Jade didn't have her faction. Io was on her own. And I think this is the first time these two have actually wrestled each other. So I was interested in that. I'm like, okay, Io Sky, we all know how great she is. She's high flying, she's fast paced, she's athletic. It's like two completely different styles. Jade Cargill being the powerhouse, right? Let's see how this works, right? And for the most part, I thought it went pretty well. And then yeah, we got no shenanigans. It was a straight wrestling match from top to bottom. Jade didn't cheat and beat Io Sky clean with her finish 1, 2, 3. And I thought, holy shit, this is actually a pretty big win for Jade Cargill because Io Sky, former champion, she's very well protected. She doesn't get pinned a whole lot, at least not in singles matches, right? But Jade Cargill won in the main event.
I'm going to set this up in a certain way because a lot of fans are going to call this stupid. And I understand why you feel that way. A lot of the internet hates Jade. A lot of wrestling fans don't like Jade, but a lot of people love Io Sky. Do I believe that if Rhea wasn't the one going up against Jade, do I think that they would ever book Jade to beat Io clean, heel versus face? No. The reason Jade won here clean was because it's still telling that story that Rhea Ripley has never been able to beat Io Sky one-on-one, but Jade could. So what is Rhea gonna do to Jade if Jade can beat the one woman Rhea can't beat? And she did it clean. I thought that is going to be a very overlooked part of why this decision was made. And though I don't like watching Io lose clean to fucking Jade Cargill, of all people, it was an incredibly smart bit of booking if you're paying close enough attention. They need Rhea to look out of her depth because for a year plus now, we've had Rhea and Io in story against each other and with each other. And Rhea has always come up short with Io, but somehow on her first try, Jade beat Io clean, even though Rhea took out her backup. Rhea might be in trouble next weekend.
The match was good. I think this does wonders for Jade because, I mean, for once, she has a clean win without Michin, without B-Fab, without some sort of shenanigans, whether that's her or outside interference. But I think her winning clean does wonders for her, and I completely understand now that Blood elaborated, and I see it. I see it. I mean, Jade can beat Io, but Rhea can't. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, at this point, I am severely hoping that Rhea wins, but unfortunately, we'll get to the predictions. But still, at this point, that is exactly the story that they're telling. Even though, once again, Jade Cargill did not have her backup. She really didn't because of the fact that Rhea Ripley took out BFAB and Michin during the rest of the show. So, overall, that's just how that went.
And that is how SmackDown went tonight, fellas. We got one Raw, one SmackDown, and then that is it, bro. That is it for the road to WrestleMania. Man, that was a long SmackDown. This was a long episode too, man. There was a lot to talk about that came out of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But like always, it was super duper fun to hang out with y'all and talk some wrestling. Thanks for everyone that was on the comments. And we will see you on the next one. Let's get the fuck up out of here.
Thank you guys for kicking it with us here on another episode of Snug Wrestling, the April 10th, 2026 edition of our SmackDown review. We are 8 days away from WrestleMania. And remember, you can hang out with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air, respectively, for live post-show reviews. Again, this upcoming week, Monday Night Raw, we will not be doing a review after Monday. It will be on Tuesday, because Snug, the head of Snug Wrestling, will, of course, be live in attendance for the go-home episode of Raw for Mania. So next week, to kick it with us for Mania season, we've got a lot of content coming your way. Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. God, what's your time zone? Pacific. We will be doing the Monday Night Raw review. That is Tuesday night. Wednesday, double taping live. That will be the NXT review and night one WrestleMania predictions with the 4 panelists you see here today. Thursday, we will not be doing our one-on-one TikTok lives. We will be doing night 2 predictions with myself, Edgar, and a special guest. Friday will be the SmackDown review for the go-home episode of WrestleMania. And again, on WrestleMania night 1 and 2, we will be doing post-WrestleMania reviews for each night. There doesn't need to be a given time because it will be directly after the shows go off the air each night. If you guys love our content, you want more content, head over to our channels on all social media for segment-to-segment live reaction content every single time the shows are on the air. And of course, support the podcast by heading over to teepublic.com, teepublic.com/snug-wrestling to pick up your Snug Wrestling merch and support the podcast, especially leading into WrestleMania next week. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And boys, because we've only got one Raw and one SmackDown left till WrestleMania, I think that would be one time for the one time. I said that was 4 letters.
4 letters.
One
One
word.
word.
Uh,
Yeet.